battling for first place in this group. RNG take a win. They're 5-1. It's their spot. It's done and dusted. And PSG Talon fans, by the way, you are rooting for RNG. You need them to win if you want PSG out of this group into the quarterfinals.
Yeah, RNG already 1-1 so far in the day. Again, LPL's week 2 record hasn't been all too hot. We're 2-7 right now. Hanwha coming off a pretty nice win, right? Chovy stepping up after the community pointed out. We talked a bit of trash and we wanted to see more from him, and man, did he deliver, Freak.
Yep, and I gotta point out, by the way, that Korea, as a region overall, the LCK has been popping off at Worlds. Top spot in Group A, top spot in Group B. Hanwha Life win here. They force a tiebreaker for top spot in this group as well. Korea has been running Worlds so far.
Freak, and I just gotta talk about what we're seeing on our screen. How many times is RNG going to be able to get Twisted Fate? As someone who watched this guy all split long, his best champion by far, by a mile. RNG are so comfortable when they get Twisted Fate, which, you know, it shows. They've won every game they've had him.
Yep.
They lost the one game that they didn't, but I would expect on the side of HLE they have an answer. Maybe just go towards the Silas, which has been the answer all Worlds long.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it just doesn't make sense.
I mean, they're putting their eggs in the Xiaohu basket, right? It's get rid of his Jace, get rid of his Lucian. Yes, by the way, that's Xiaohu's Lucian. And Yuumi, they're unwilling to trade back, right? They would rather take Wei's Lee Sin and give it to Willer and say, you know what, Cryan, you're trash anyway. I don't think he is, right? I think on TF, he's actually a very passive mid laner, even on the world stage. Though otherwise, yes, the weak point of the RNG lineup.
Yeah, definitely one of the best Twisted Fates we have. Also curious to see where RNG do go in terms of their top lane pick. Like you highlighted, already taking away 2 of those carry champions. Graves is still open, but we haven't seen Xiaohu pull it out just yet. They can just leave counter pick for top on 5, because we need to remember, Xiaohu has already played Syndra this tournament, can always look for a counter pick, especially into Morgan, who Morgan definitely more of a blind pick top laner. He does like things like the Camille if RNG doesn't decide to take that one away. He's blind picked it quite a bit. He played it up in the LCK regionals, but I'm more interested where Ming will be going on this next turn. With Leona opened, you would expect that's where it is, but surprisingly, RNG are the ones who ban out Leona themselves. Ming has preferred other, I'd say, more obscure picks so far this tournament, like the Realm the Set, but a little bit surprised coming out from RNG.
It means they're probably rush picking for a top lane, if that's the call, because otherwise, yeah, you just take the highest priority support, and then you move on from there. But if you're saying, no, actually, it's guaranteed, there's something that we need for Xiaohu, Graves being up, for example, but no, blinding the Gwen, which I really don't think Morgan would have taken here.
It's so weird as well, because we talked about, okay, they could have gone for something like the Leona. We were talking about Camille for Morgan, but they're the team that decides to ban off the Camille when Xiaohu, not even really a big Camille player over in the LPL. So yeah, we're going to see the Gwen coming out from the side of RNG. Not something that Xiaohu played too much later on in the split once some of the nerfs did come through. They didn't find a lot of success on it. Now we're going to see where Hanwha want to pivot as they do lock in the Rakan, so gonna have a bit of utility down in that bottom side, some kill pressure there. And I mean, Deft has been playing quite well, Chovy's been playing quite well, and I'm just curious to see where they go with blind pick top. Renekton, not on the table anymore, Camille's gone, so...
Yeah, it's going to be an answer on top. Obviously, the Gwen was blinded, and Aatrox will be the answer. Almost all of his damage should be able to bypass her W by being in range, so we'll see how well Morgan can fight it. This means that the eggs were in the Ming counterpick basket. First team All-Pro of the LPL, which is stacked, by the way. Credit to Ming. Xiaohu also first All-Pro, and Braum is the pickup here. We are defending the backline.
Yeah, and like you said, they leave counterpick for Ming. Rakan is sort of a very good answer into the Braum, typically counterpicked into the Braum himself, because Braum doesn't have an easy time of locking down the Rakan. And yeah, RNG's comp, in my opinion, is a little bit all over the place. You could say it's a bit more of a traditional 1-3-1, where you would draft disengage into your bot lane and then have that as your 3 in mid, and then play around your other 2 sides, but I don't think RNG's comp indexes too heavily in playing for sides or team fighting overall, to where for HLE, I look at their draft, and in 5v5s, they are looking beautiful.
That's interesting. Yeah, I mean, the Rakan engage obviously is quite incredible. Aphelios loves that as well. Gwen is someone I do identify as a strong side laner. What's interesting is she can kind of do both. Like, she's just a weak early game champion, an outstanding late game champion, and she can 1v2 at a side lane. She can team fight by immuning the opposing AD carry. Like, You know, if there's a game to cement you in first, it's like, hey, Xiaohu, you want a 1v5 on this Gwen? It's like, you know, I accept that. I buy that personally.
Yeah, I mean, it's just going to be a big throwback to him earlier on in the split. I'm really curious to see how he does. To on the opposite side, we're going to get to see how Chovy pops off this time around. But for the side of RNG, something that was hit on by the desk a lot that we didn't really get to talk about is Gala stepping up so far today. And Gala just at international tournaments, right? MSI, he showed up massively. Has never really been the big performer for RNG during the split. So he's another player we need to keep our eyes on here.
Yes, we do. Bot lane can be a huge factor here. MF and Aphelios can both do a ton of damage. There's one thing I do want to bring up back to the TF point from the very beginning of Champ Select. One thing that I can identify here, Hanwha Life clearly are all about Chovy. If you let your opponent pick a weak laner like TF, who's going to go leave your lane, it does give him the freedom to hard farm, get an XP advantage, get a plate advantage, and then let him win in the late game. Obviously, with Sylas, you can, of course, answer the ulti sometimes, but that can be the game plan maybe. Hanwha's like, yeah, we know you want TF, but that's okay. We want Chovy a good lane.
They also did play this matchup the last time these two teams faced each other, and I believe Chovy almost solo killed him at level 5, did force a flash out from Cryan, so saying, hey, it doesn't matter if this is bread and butter pick, if this is RNG's playstyle, he still has confidence that he is able to shut it down. Is maybe they can find their way on Xiaohu. I don't know if Chovy's gonna...
You can't die, though. You always learn E. Okay, Chovy wants to land the stuns. Xiaohu, of course, flash lift. They're gonna find that one and take it back. He can die, and he will. Oh, my word. 400 gold in the Chovy, 100 split across the other two. My cast curse is strong. He can't die. He does.
Really creative coming out from the side of Hanwha Life. Chovy flashing over, does have the abscond abduct, it does connect, and I also like that they decided to give him the kill, recognizing Chovy Life Esports is going strong.
Lock up by Rakan. I guess the trade went slightly better for the Hanwha Life side. Okay, so we are on to the Rift now. No one's going to lose any lane XP or gold. We are all back in the lane in time. And again, Aatrox was not part of that killer assist. So top lane is not different in any way. Obviously, though, Chovy has 400 gold.
And we're just going to get a replay here. You can tell with the way Chovy's posturing, they want to look for this. Is going to be able to flash over the wall after the Sonic Wave comes out. Does look like they were waiting a little bit for the E. Holds on to the abduct, does land it, and that just guarantees the kill for the side of Hanwha Life.
Really nice. You know, took the time to read where is Xiaohu going, when is he going to turn right, okay? He's going left, right, left, right, left, right, and he's turning right, land the shot. Well done. Obviously nicely done. And yes, he's in the lane with extra ring, extra potion, feels good. And now, yes, okay, sure. Gets pushed in early by TF, whatever. Gets most of the first two waves. Bot lane, you know, actually pretty active. Cool to see as Gala and Ming are getting level 2 right here.
Yeah, I think for this bot lane matchup, right, you definitely have all the power coming out from the Misfortune. The only qualm I have with it is Deft doesn't have to feel too much pressure if Vista does decide to just leave the lane. Not too much all-in power coming in unless, you know, Deft walks too far forward, gives Ming place to W to a minion, but
he could steal these.
Looking for Willer.
Gets two small Raptors, takes the one-on-one fight at level 3. I want to say I favor Lee Sin, but Conqueror is stacked, and Willer has to leave. Cryan, I guess, theoretically could have gone for a flash. Goalkeeper went on too long, so Wei, with bot lane control, gets to go for a red buff steal. Lee Sin, at best, can try to take Krugs.
Yeah, both Cryan and Ming were hovering towards the bottom half, so he's going to be able to get this red buff. We'll probably pivot into a bot side scuttle. Willer going to get the one on top. They can try to look for some kind of gank if they wanted, but oh, I love this. RNG are going to go contest. I think they might be too slow. No, they're going to be able to do it.
Yeah, he's got no smite, so there's no way you actually kill Scuttle fast on Lee Sin without that summoner spell. You can easily track it. You press tab, you see 3 charges on the knife. You know he doesn't have it. Okay, that means we can walk up and it's ours. So Willer really being pushed out here just on the 3 camps. Actually, I guess 4. He got, you know, most of Raptors, so it's just shy of 16, but he's kind of done jungling now.
That's the thing, right? Really great use of early prio coming out from RNG, going for the bottom side Vade with mid and bot pushing in. CLA 1 camp instantly go top side. I'm surprised they aren't threatening for more. Vista is waiting in the wings, and Deft has a window to push bot because RNG did force their last wave into the tower, so at least Willer will be able to get something back. But like you said, not really any other camps up for Willer other than his Krugs. To where Wei is everything.
Yep. All right, Wei gets to go ahead and circle back through his camps. Everything is up to go the other way around. Of course, that means he will miss a recall for shopping. not terribly important. You want to wait till you can get the Iron Spike Whip anyway, but instead, looking at mid lane now, Chovy low on mana. We know he's flashless. Knock up slow, and how would you possibly live? Cryan has to flash the chains. I think he would have survived them, but they do get a kill back now for RNG.
Yeah, for Chovy, we just saw the members of Hanwha Life were hovering around mid lane, which gave him the push out. Way backs off from the Scuttle Crab, recognizes that he still doesn't have flash from the earlier level 1. Really nice timing of Summoner since it is about to come up for Chovy, but they get something out of it. They did have to expend their own flashes, but it at least will put a bit of pressure on him. As now Morgan gonna get a ward, gonna recall. And I'm kind of interested in seeing how this early game has panned out so far, especially with that top lane matchup. Not one I'm all too familiar with is you don't see too much Gwen anymore, even though we have seen her a little bit throughout the tournament. Same goes for Aatrox, where he's been picked up a few times. But with the Executioner's calling coming out, I'm kind of with you, right? Should be able to fight inside of her W. You even have your chain to be able to disengage if at any time you aren't winning. As long as you're hitting those sweet spots, I would assume Aatrox does quite well. As we see the all-in, Chovy forcing in his wave. I don't think necessarily wanted to look for too much of an extended trade as he didn't have any mana. Wave finds an easy time coming in. He blows the flash. And ooh, Cryan even in the end having to flash to dodge out from that Q damage.
Yeah, it was a tight one and gets away. What's interesting is Wave was on the way. Like, he was already pathing that that direction before that all-in even happened. True. He just had to read, okay, the Wave's coming to the turret, we're going to try, right? I'm just going to go for the flash EQ if he's anywhere remotely close, and he was there. Chovy now level 6. Cryan almost there, so, you know, Sylas can cross map before the TF can. Cryan intelligently waiting under his turret. There's the ulti steal. Willer wants top lane.
I like this.
Okay, the damage is coming in. Xiaohu pushed back, but Morgan, how old is he Ignite? He's not going to die, but Willer's around, and here comes Sylas. It's a 3 versus 1, just like at level 1, and Xiaohu dies again.
And it's just like you said, Freak, the amount of pressure that HLE were able to have from the fact that Chovy can take away that ultimate before Cryan even has it himself. It doesn't matter what Willer and Morgan think about the 1v2. They know that Chovy will be able to lean up towards his top side. Vista was even waiting around mid just to make sure that Chovy can push that freely. RNG are going to answer with a Drake, but I feel like HLE are in a pretty good spot going forward. When we talked about coming into this draft, that a lot of your win condition does kind of look like Xiaohu popping off. Sure, there are some other elements, right? You have big potential with Twisted Fate. You can set up for a massive bullet time coming out if Wei sets up nicely with his Cataclysm. But with Xiaohu being down, I feel like such a big part of your damage later on will just be gone.
Well, the ward is gone right now. The gold, though, very tight between these teams. Just 200 separates them. And RNG up the dragon just based on scoreboard, not looking at names. RNG, I believe, would be favored at this point in time. As we wait to see the rest of the farm come through for Gala. Decent down there in the bottom lane. The gold difference not going to be too hard to answer. And again, the fact that Morgan's only getting assists up there means Xiaohu is still ahead in farm. It's Chovy up 500 gold. That's obviously a really big deal. You'd rather have gold on a Sylas than a Jarvan. So that part looks pretty good for HLE. Battling for first in the group.
This game is what you'd expect so far, right? Chovy and Deft are the ones up in gold on their opposition. On the other side, it's the RNG top side of Xiaohu and Wei. By now, looking for those plays in the top half of the map. The thing they got to be scared of, look towards the bot lane. Vista was actually looking to channel his recall. Doesn't look like he will be able to get it off, but when you are laning against the Braum as an AD carry, I feel like you just feel so little pressure. Has both Flash and Cleanse up as well. Ming will be 6 soon, so there will be some threat there, but Vista just has so much more agency to move and impact the top side of the map.
Another trade in the top side. Pretty good damage. Morgan able to sidestep the ulti. One more charge. When's it going to go in and dodges it? So most of the damage actually dodged away there. Xiaohu again never has flash. And the W's on cooldown. This could be another kill. He's going to find the first knockup. Oh yeah, this man is absolutely going to die. Cryan here for the assist, but Willer is there. And you got to sign one, Xiaohu. You're dying constantly.
But look at your minimap right now. Where Wei is in the enemy jungle, actually looks like he's going to be fine. I was a little bit scared because Deft did base, Gala on the other side didn't. And as I was just pointing out, Vista will always be able to move first in this bottom lane matchup. Wei, he's actually staying around. RNG want to contest this.
If they can. I mean, Xiaohu is TPing in. Cryan's around.
But Deft's here.
Spellbooks to Ignite. Here comes Ming as well as the squad's coming in. Okay, Aatrox gonna burn the TP. A stun comes in. Ming just kills off Vista. Morgan teleports in. He's gonna try his best. Wave forced to flash, but Deft is here. big damage and a kill is picked up. Willer locked into the Cataclysm, a flash away for death. Now Xiaohu in a 1 versus 2 trying his best, gets a bit of health back in, but you are completely alone. It's time for death number 4 for the best top laner in the LPL. He is killed yet again.
And I'm just really surprised that RNG would want to look for that. Death that even just showed on mid-wave right as they look to contest and push in to pull HLE off Herald. Sure, Vista went down early on, but we saw how much the Aphelios was able to do. And this is going to open up a Rift Herald for the side of HLE. And they're going to start ballooning this gold lead. Heck, you even look topside. Xiaohu's losing a wave. Bot wave in a good position for when Deft makes his way back down there. The map just in a perfect position for the side of Hanwha.
And they're going to get a lot of gold. Suddenly, Morgan's going to be ahead in this lane. He's got forces to his name now. He's sharing in 4 at least plates. If they stay, they can get the entire thing. This entire turret, yeah, this turret is gone. It has taken 1 million damage here from the Aphelios, and Cash is on board. 1,100 gold now, Morgan's lead over Xiaohu, and Gwen's going to take a very long time to catch up now.
Yeah, RNG are answering on the bottom side. Oh, actually, I think HLE should just be able to get 2 turrets here. Crying doesn't have Destiny, so we can't be able to get here in time.
He's pretty aggressive, though, putting the ult in for damage. They're not going to get a whole lot more, but yeah, Crying and Ming are on the way. If Hanwha Life bites, Q's going to land. Morgan is maybe killable. Maybe they can land the attacks. Ulti comes in, great sidestep, but Deft did it! Deft, you need to use your mouse, buddy. Down he goes, and Xiaohu gets 300 gold, closing the gap.
And it's kind of being answered on the opposite side by RNG. Sure, Chovy getting a ton of golden plates in mid, which, as an LPL fan right now in this matchup, I'm completely scared of Chovy getting golden plates. Gala is answering in the bottom lane. I was wrong before. Actually, it was a big stacked wave going into Gala's. Chovy might be caught out, is being able to get away for now.
Ryan flash, but the gold card times out. This just keeps happening. Chovy, though, still alone against 3, dodging away. There's the dunk on in. Reverse dunk comes across, but stunned and a shutdown goes through to Wei.
Yeah, Chovy did not make that easy. The side of RNG having to blow flash coming out from Crying, gold card connected. In the end, too many of members of RNG were there, though. I feel like a big thing as we look forward with the state of the map is the fact that HLE did break down topside turret. So we're going to see Morgan start having push, can look to clear out that vision on topside, either hover into fog or just straight up walk towards mid. You can either look to gank Crying or give Chovy the freedom to where he can look to make plays towards bot side. So HLE have a lot of options as how they can use this lane pressure to collapse on the rest of the map.
All right, so down goes the bot wave under the turret. Going to be farmed. Hanwha Life going to be able to turn the Dragon score 1-1 as we move towards an Infernal Rift. Neither team anywhere close to a soul, but now Vista wants mid. Charm is in. Stopwatch in time, and Crying is safe, but not for very long. Willer Warthog kicks, finds a mid laner kill. Wei forced to walk backwards. Hanwha Life will not go quietly. However, yeah, a 2,000 gold lead. Mid lane turret gonna lose its 3rd plate, but Willer overstays. Goredrinker buys a second to shield for another, but Ignite still ticks, and he still falls. RNG trying to keep up.
I mean, RNG just being lucky there with the over-aggression coming out from the side of Hanwha. Really just overstaying on the map. Could have backed off, gotten tempo. We see that Willer does have some camps up that he can be picking off, but for the initial play, I think it just shows how, you know, how much one lane lead means for the other lanes in League of Legends. You break down top lane turret for Morgan. It goes exactly as we talked about. He can start hovering around mid. The fact that they know they have numbers advantage there gives them the confidence to look for that dive. So I wouldn't be too surprised to see Hanwha look for more plays like this, whether it is in the mid lane like we're seeing here on our screen or towards bot lane. It is quite open when you know you have it set up. Nice kick coming out from Willer. The Sonic Wave doesn't land, doesn't matter. All the other members of HLE are there. And then we're going to see a little bit of an overstay. They do want to get some plate gold, it looks like, but...
it's a 4v2, but the wave was dead. I understand staying because you're 4v2. The problem is he wasn't tracking mid-wave. That last melee minion dies, and that's when RNG's like, we got this.
Instantly
they can't chase. Yeah. So, right idea, a small misread. Again, preventable mistake, but it's not as bad a mistake as it may have looked on closer examination. Either way, though, yes, it is Willer dying for his first time in the game. 3-1-1. Wei is honestly now, at this point, trying to carry his team.
It's kind of funny because Wei has looked like the one Jarvan at this tournament that makes Jarvan not look terrible.
Yeah.
Which, a bit of an anecdote throwback for older LPL fans, or by older I mean last year, so actually newer LPL fans. Back when Wei was on E-Star, he was pretty much a one-trick Jarvan. was on a team with Krine at the time, another player, Xiaoxi, was just, hey, we pick Jarvan, we level 2 gank bot every single game. So definitely a champion that Wei is comfortable on, even if the plan nowadays is the complete opposite. It's we level 3 gank topside every single game.
Meanwhile, Xiaohu mostly holding a freeze up here. Nothing to play for. Baron 5 minutes away. Dragon 2.5 away. What are you doing but trying to get your own farm? Realistically, Gwen is the primary win condition of this team. If there's ever time to freeze, it is this one.
Yep.
LS, I'm sure you're happy. And you're probably listening, so shout-outs to you.
A big thing as well, right, is the fact that there's really no objective up for Hanwha on the other side of the map. You can't really go and take away any camps. You can maybe try to stack bot wave and threaten with Morgan making his way down, but I don't actually feel like it's too much. Yeah, it is pushing back.
Okay, no, there's a new cannon. It's actually probably okay for now.
Still, Xiaohu is finding a bit of a lead for himself where, even on the opposite side, right, you're making Morgan share EXP, share gold with the other members of Hanwha Life. So RNG trying to find a way back in the game. They actually aren't that far behind, only about 400 or 500. Though, Freak, as you've pointed out to me a lot over the past few days, Twisted Fate on the map.
Yeah,
so it's, yeah, not exactly fair for the deficit that RNG find themselves in. Should be a bit bigger.
True, 480, keeping it at, you know, not 1,000, but 600-ish. And okay, sure, wave's still going down, but new wave coming into the mid lane. Try and get a knock most of that down. Shouldn't lose much gold for this one. Yeah, and then with a stacked deck, you pretty much can't lose that cannon. Good job. Oh, he's gonna, it's the caster. That's just greedy, man. You could have easily red carded that, you know, or whatever. I can't believe you just sacrificed 18 gold.
Yeah, and
wow.
I wanna revisit the stakes of this game simply.
Yes.
Because the stakes are life or death. If RNG wins, they get out in first seed. LPL has not had a good week, Freak.
They have not.
But for HLE is bullet time.
Whoa, there we go.
Nothing lands.
Happy feet by Def, a good good flash as well. The teleport helps to guarantee some safety. Each over there to help is homing out, and they're going to be just fine. Nice attempt by RNG. Double ulti traded with a flash. Those ultis are going to be on cooldown for the dragon fight. And that might mean RNG giving it up, because that might just be too much team fight penalty lost.
That was so nice from Def, just dodging it on everything. Gala not really getting any use out of that bullet time. Ming's ultimate completely whiffing as well. Chovy now gonna have push in mid, so they can start brute forcing their way into bot side river. Morgan has push in top, can start walking down, and then it will save a TP advantage as well if Morgan isn't forced to stay in that 1v1. With the reset, you would expect Morgan to just try and walk down straight from base, but with 10 seconds until Dragon, might have to use that TP.
We need to know pretty quickly what the call is. Gore Drinker, Executioners, Mork Treads, and Morgan is on the way over. Xiaohu is not walking down. If anything, he will TP. He's saying, no, I'm going top wave, and there's the recalls out. Yep, Braum takes the recall. Gala sitting in lane. They have indeed signaled this is not the play. Dragon 2, we don't care about. We're going to go for a wave, and maybe Morgan's TP. No, I'm not even going turret damage. I'm going to take his recall.
It's fine, because I didn't get to finish, the narrative point that all the fans love.
Please.
I sounded extremely biased, only hyping up LPL, but
No,
for
that's
LCK
fine.
fans, if Hanwha can win this and, keep going throughout the day, get the tiebreaker, again, another team coming out first in their group. You're watching Gen G tomorrow, and maybe we're just back to LCK very clearly being the overlords.
I mean, listen, back in 2014, I'm just thinking back to, the Samsung White, Samsung Blue semifinal. It was a Royal Club branded team making finals that year.
Oh, Vista?
Yeah, okay. Vista gonna not find the tournament away either. Nothing to be claimed. Botlane turret will fall, and I believe Gala was able to get his share of the local gold by tagging the turret. So RNG basically now tied in gold. Down a Drake. Again, the scoreboard slightly favors Hanwha Life. And Chovy obviously off to the races here as well. May just be enough, but a close game.
And I think it also just goes to show so far what we've seen, the fact of, again, a lot of criticisms of maybe taking certain turrets too early in the game or when you're going for it, because you highlighted earlier the earlier freeze coming out from Xiaohu. He went from, sure, he was even maybe slightly down to now having like a clear advantage. Is farming up. You highlighted the strength of Gwen later on, so I feel like for RNG, they've kind of stabilized to a point. Rift Herald is up on the map right now. Hanwha are coming off resets, so you would assume they're the team that should have prio for that. We will take that one off the Rift, but yeah, RNG looking strong.
I mean, the fact is, for the last 12 minutes, Xiaohu's been sitting top lane without a turret, and no one's bothered to look at him. Yeah, he's playing it very defensively, right? He is playing far back. He's making sure he's not an easy target, but they've stopped interrupting his gold income. He's just been farming for a very long time now.
And for the side of Hanwha, they haven't even been able to answer with plays anywhere else. They've hovered around mid, tried to set that one up again. I don't think they've even thought about bot lane for the fact that if they try to stack a wave and maybe have Chovy roam down and have Morgan cover mid, that Gala can just use the bullet time to clear the wave. So RNG utilizing their tools, maybe Hanwha giving a little bit too much respect in terms of having opened the map earlier. Heck, they could have even just hovered towards top side, even threatened more dives on Xiaohu.
Right. I mean, that's kind of the point here. The fact that Xiaohu is growing his farm lead. He's 25 up now. Morgan lost the entire top wave. Like, that wave got pushed in, and they're just like, yep, we're just down that 100 gold. He's just kind of bleeding out money. And RNG killed bot turret. Okay, yes, a Drago was answered back. Something's going for Hanwha Life, but they're kind of just chilling and being like, well, Chovy's farming, it's fine.
Yeah, and you even look at items right now. So Chovy is the clear strong point, right? Having the Cosmic Drive in his inventory. But look on the opposite side to where Gala on 2 items over Deft, even having the Executioner's Calling coming out. Xiaohu just being exactly even in terms of items as Morgan. So I'm feeling a little bit better for RNG right now. Braum ultimate stolen by Chovy.
Nice try by Wei, does not find a knock up there. Braum comes in for a stun, nothing else happening. Cryan, of course, no rapid fire cannon done yet, means no easy target. And Cosmic Drive, as you mentioned, in for Chovy means he is mobile, and that means he's going to probably run to bot side soon and catch a new wave. But first, a mid lane turret is here to be killed. This will always die to the Herald charge. There's no Bard to interrupt it. As long as someone's nearby, they're getting that gold. And they could force it on the Chovy, but they're going to share it across everybody. They will sadly still have HLE lose some health, as they couldn't kill the turret first. And this charge is likely to succeed and get more damage onto the mid turret. Pretty decent damage comes in on the turret and the enemy champions. Vista, he's not going to be locked down by Xiaohu. That's not going to be realistic. They will not take the Raptors away either.
Nope, so RNG still picking up all the gold on the map. Hanwha finally able to break down the mid turret though, so can potentially give them more options around playing through mid and top. With Dragon coming up in a minute 20, it definitely expect focus to shift down towards that bottom side. If HLE can get next Drake, they are on Soul Point and can threaten that as a win condition. And I mean, you look at their comp, you know it scales. They have a Silas, they have an Aphelios. Sure. Will do quite well throughout the game tour. We talked about it for RNG. Sure, Gala is going the crit route. We saw that last game with being pretty much trading and one-shotting Chovy as well on his LeBlanc, but I still feel like Xiaohu going to be a large portion of that. Wei and Cryan gonna have more supportive, more awkward roles later on.
Sure, but Xiaohu went from a 25 CS lead to a 40 CS lead. And look, Morgan's income is not the important part here, really. But the fact is, Xiaohu is just farming. He was targeted so heavily. They first flooded him before minion spawn. They went back and back and back to that top lane. And yet he's at 205 CS. The only man with more farm is his own bot laner. And Chovy, who, you know, yeah, he's going to have that kind of farm. But okay, good smite by Wei, able to claim his own blue buff, nicely done. So nothing else bled out, and now we are gonna play for the Dragon. We've got a stopwatch in, and we've got grievous wounds in for Xiaohu as well. The first time he's actually opting into team fighting this game. The 1 and 4 Gwen could be the difference maker.
Yeah, definitely going to be looking at Xiaohu and looking at Chovy on the opposite side, who does have the Cataclysm. Gala doesn't have his flash up. He's immobile. He will be very easy to take down if HLE can find their way onto him.
Okay, dodges away. That rip from Chovy could have actually signaled a little bit of doom. A 4 stopwatch at the very least, maybe a stun, and could have been some really meaningful damage if Vista followed up. But right now, it's the fight for the mid wave and the bottom river. Vista puts a ward down, that means they can take the control ward, maybe. Ming and Wei able to fight for this one and fight back for the control ward, and indeed, they will at least get rid of some of the vision, but Hanwha Life are the ones with control wards dotting these 2 brushes. And it's going to be a bit harder for Ming and Wei to walk forward. Morgan has to hold the front line. He's the tanky member of the team. He cannot give this one up if they want to fight for it, but Chovy is pushing in the bot, which means the fight can begin. Wei dives in, gets some damage to Morgan, forces the ulti, but the root means they can get the kill. Then a 4v5, they get the kill as Chovy's coming in for the flank. It's now up to Xiaohu putting damage on Morgan, but won't kill him just yet. Chovy coming back around, and now RNG going to try to dive in. The dunk, the dash out, and Chovy going to stay alive just barely. Stopwatch immunes the bullet time, and RNG forced to run away as Hanwha Life have the 5, and they're going to be able to win this fight, it looks like. Pushing in, Xiaohu burns the stopwatch. Charm and a knockup for Vista. Hanwha Life coming alive. 3 kills unanswered. Can I get a 4th? They're looking for it there as Cryan is doing just that as the hopes of first place seed are dwindling. Hanwha Life with the win will force a tiebreak, a rematch of this game for first seed.
Hanwha just stepping up. Really nice to see coming out from their side. I mean, like you said, Wei instantly gets pulled back by the chain. It's a 4v5. RNG, we're hoping that's where they can take it. I understand what Hanwha were going for that time, where it's like, hey, we're both just posturing. If Chovy goes and pushes in bot wave, they are not only losing gold, we have another avenue where we can enter into river from if we do get pushed out, as we do see here, but way, EQ's in, sure he gets the knockup, but Willer doing a nice job of pressuring on the opposite side with the flank makes it so they feel very unsure about walking in. With Chovy now making his way around, they feel a lot of pressure on the Misfortune as we hit on. She doesn't have a flash. And look, they lock them in. They hit the Everfrost. And sure, no one dies immediately, but they do so much damage that the side of RNG just has to back off. Vista flashing in at the end pretty much just cements everything. And then the members of HLE are able to follow up.
Our X Effect replay was RNG taking what looked like a good fight. It was an objective 5v4, and they could not finalize the kills. They could not get in to do the rest of the damage. And Hanwha Life in a 4v5 without Chovy. It was the other 4 who stepped up and won that fight, converted it into 3 for nothing, converted it now into their 3rd Dragon. We are 340 away from an Infernal Soul. And Hanwha Life, the attempt to be the 3rd straight LCK team to get 1st seed out of their group, following the stead of T1, following the stead of Damwon Kia. Shinji tomorrow can try to do the same. Again, with a win for Hanwha, it is a tiebreak for first. It does not guarantee it, but it means that we are going to have a Game 7 today, and it's going to be this match all over again with the chance at 1st seed. It also means we eliminate PSG Talon. They will no longer have a shot at Worlds. They'll fight for 3rd place with Fnatic for a bit of pride and nothing else.
No, definitely going to be a massive match, especially for the fact, again, PSG being a team we didn't expect to have to talk about with the stakes of this game. Coming in, I mean, PSG could have been the first team coming out from PCS to be able to make it to a quarterfinal. It's been such a long time, even going back to LMS, since they were able to make it through. So, going to be pretty sad for PSG. They are very much cheering for RNG to find their way back into this game, but Hanwha not only a 2K gold lead sitting on Soul Point, and we've seen just, again, the amount of options they're able to have in these team fights, where for RNG, it does feel more front and back oriented. Bringing Cryin in on a flank or porting to the backline, I feel like feels pretty unimpactful when all of your damage is coming out from Gala and Xiaohu. I feel like you are playing more of, okay, I'm peeling with gold card, I'm making sure my carries are safe. So for RNG, you want fights in open spaces. Choke points will be quite rough when you are going up against Aphelios, Moonlight Vigil, or the quickness coming out from the Rakan. You do have pretty decent AoE and choke points as well, though, so kind of goes both ways, right?
Yeah.
you don't want to be fun like into choke against either side.
Yeah, when you're like, man, they don't really want a choke point fight, I'm like, which one is he talking about? Because there's the MF on the one side.
It's both.
There's an MF on the other, by the way, because Chovy can take it, and obviously the Aphelios, right? As you directly mentioned. So yeah, it's to me it's just, well, that's going to be positioning matters a whole lot, right? That's like who gets the jump, who gets to lock 2 down and lock them in place. Obviously Ming can just like hard block the MF steal, and there's some stuff going on there. It's going to be fun, though. This game is going to be spicy. 2,400 gold lead for Hanwha Life. Chovy hard splitting in the side lane. Xiaohu doing the same. His CS lead now up to 44, though Morgan will answer this wave and keep up pretty reliably. 1 level lead, though, for the Gwen, and that's going to be Recall. Vista going to spot him, maybe. And it looks like just going to buff up Wheeler, stick around, make sure he feels safe, and just a red buff cleanly claimed.
Yeah, and I think Hanwha right now feel like they're in a position where they don't need to necessarily push aggressively for picks into the opposite side. They're waiting up that 1-minute timer. I'm really curious to see if RNG will elect into trying to fight this one out, or if they're going to try to go for some kind of pull, hey, maybe we'll go towards a Baron. I would obviously hate that. You'd be giving over an Infernal Soul. So HLE would commandingly be able to take any fights at that point in time. But I don't feel like RNG win contest over mid-wave. You can try to be the team that pushes out bot first and enter in through that direction. But I feel like a lot's going to be on Ming in this fight to buy space for Gala. And then, again, we've been hitting on Xiaohu all game long because he was the one who was able to freeze up in topside and see what kind of impact he can have with that needlework.
All right, dancing back and forth, playing for the bottom river. Hanwha Life won the team fight here last time. We'll see if RNG can fix their mistakes. A small gold deficit, some damage to Vista, forcing him to dodge back. Dragon spawns, Morgan now to join the crew as well. Hanwha not going for a flank play. Spotting the brushes, where can we see anyone? Now that they see Morgan, they know where everybody is. Vista, somewhat tracked on that ward because the sweeper is known, he's attacking it, they know where they are. Morgan back over the walls, the Dragon has aggroed. Jarvan ult taken here for Chovy, he can lock down someone in the back line. This is Dragon Soul for Hanwha Life. Vista waiting in the flanks. When does he go in? Ghost popped here for mobility around. When does a fight truly begin? There's the dunk forward, there's the push out, but it gives them the space to claim the Dragon Soul. Hanwha Life manicure the team fight, and now RNG, do they die here?
Ooh, RNG, they're kind of posturing. I'm kind of surprised RNG are looking for this fight. You're going up against Hanwha Life with Soul, but Freak, you pointed it out. That was such a smart play coming out from HLE. Cataclysm coming out from Chovy. You throw out the Moonlight Vigil as well from Def, so they're backing off even further, and now they have the Soul. They're the team that does have pretty decent scaling damage coming out from both of their carries, and Def and Chovy instantly pivot up towards topside because they have tempo, because RNG need to back. And that was just beautiful coming out from HLE.
LCK domination here at Worlds 2021. 2 first seeds already. And Hanwha Life looking to make it a 3rd in a row. If they close this game, they tie-break RNG for first. And PSG Talon, sadly, will be the 2nd and last PCS team eliminated from the very seed where they started, and not advancing whatsoever. Hanwha Life themselves, actually the ones that dropped down Beyond Gaming. With a win here, they would be the team that, in a way, also eliminate their brethren in PSG Talon. But there's a little bit more to play. It is tough to come back, though, from 3,000 Golden Dragons, so I'll say that. But
yeah, and I feel like when you look at RNG's options with the champions they have, they're quite limited, because what we saw in our last HLE game is the fact that HLE are a team that they don't necessarily feel like they need to go answer side waves when they know, hey, our comp is just stronger as a 5-man unit. We are just going to overload the side, maybe lose a bit of gold. So for RNG, I feel like you're hoping you can find a pick onto someone like Chovy on a side with both Xiaohu and Cry, and maybe have Wei lean over as well. It will open up for HLE to potentially be able to push mid and maybe threaten an inhibitor turret. But as RNG, I don't feel like you can go at them 5v5 right now.
There we go. Trying anyway. Trying to force the 5v5, because guess what? If you win it, you win it. Make him fight you. Bring him to Baron, but they're going to fall back for now. The control ward of the pit is not deep enough to spot the ward put down in the back, so ultimately they don't like playing with that vision disparity. The fact that there is any vision at all is not fun when you're trying to take a Baron. Cryan gonna go ahead and let Chovy grab the ulti. 2-level deficit, by the way. Cryan has not side laned really at all. A 53 CS lead for Chovy. A 2-level lead. That man is richer. That man is certainly more powerful. Top lane tier 2 nearly dead. Chovy puts the ulti down into the Baron pit. They are beginning it now. And they are burning this thing down. Willer and Vista gonna mark as best they can to keep Wei out of the pit.
Have a ward.
6k health to kick by some time. Willer back in. All right, is Wei gonna have the chance to get in? It's gonna be smitten. It'll be taken. Hanwha Life claim the Baron, and they're gonna run for their lives.
Yeah, for Hanwha, they don't even need to fight at this point in time. It was really close coming in, especially with the timing of Xiaohu's TPE, but Willer able to secure that one. You have Soul, you have Baron. This is gonna be the time where we see Hanwha be the aggressors and push forward.
They may have done it. They've made that push to 4 and 2, guarantee that tie break, looking to, well, maybe take some recalls, though. Def hasn't gotten back to base yet. I believe Chovy has to be back, but Morgan hasn't spent. So there's a couple of champions that maybe want to cash in. We can see RNG shoving mid pretty heavily, but all they do is clear the wave. They're not going for the dragon, or sorry, not going for the turret itself.
I also want to point out the last time these guys played was a bit of a fiesta. It was all over the place. It was about a 40-minute game where Hanwha were winning. I believe Hanwha had Soul in that game as well. And then they went to start a Baron, trying to either bait a fight or just burst it down. And RNG won the team fight right there and just won the game out of nowhere. So even though I think this looks extremely dire for RNG, Hanwha should pretty much win this, you know, 8, 9 out of 10 times. As RNG, you're banking on that one. You're banking on that one where someone walks too far forward, maybe you find a pick off onto Def, who right now doesn't have cleanse, so you hit a gold card. There's hope, but he has flash, he's a stopwatch available as well. It feels like Hanwha have too many tools. For Hanwha, I feel like right now you just push. You just push, try and pull them into you, and look for the fight.
Well, mid's being attacked. Both soul laners are kind of sitting in the river. Morgan heading back down to the bottom side. 1-0-6. You know, all of the prep work of Morgan as a liability has a little bit been overwrought. He's been solid in this game. He's at least held up and then been there for the team fights. And, you know, with the teamwork, has managed to keep Xiaohu down. And maybe a questionable draft of blind picking their top laner and then the self-counter pick at support. And RNG on the back foot here. Deft comes over, the dunk comes across from Wei. Ulti in for the Braum. Willer able to jump back to safety though. And Gala continues his scoreline 0-0-0. I'm not sure if he can find an ultimate so far this game. The one I've seen was Deft sidestepping it. Would like to see more out of the Misfortune. 3 items, Infinity Edge done. He can do a lot. Right now isn't doing a whole bunch. Bot lane tier 2 will fall. A bit of a formality with Baron buff still on. Rebel Baron power play almost 20. Well, now it's 3K as the...
Only 35 seconds left on it though, so HLE haven't been able to pick up too much from this. They did finally get a 2-lane setup down where they're able to push it mid, hover over, and put a bit of pressure onto RNG. But that also did come at the cost of Def's flash. So HLE losing a little bit on that push. And I love it, Freak. We have this high-tension match, and it's going to be decided by a team fight at Elder Drake.
That's fun. Baron's going to time out in time for the Dragon to spawn. Obviously, the gold difference, a solid 6,000, that's going to be spent. The Infernal Soul almost mirrors that lead in terms of what it gives the team. That's going to be on top. All right, we've got a Silas coming in, knocked up. Ming actually flashes, thought he'd be locked down by Chovy's combo. And so that is now a summoner spell missing. Xiaohu can jump the wall, should have no problems here as Deft walks in the mid lane, clears it away. And we'll see if Elder Dragon will indeed be the target or if Hanwha Life would like to find a siege.
Hanwha definitely going to peel off towards that Dragon pit. Deft having Calibrum, so having a lot of range to play with to try and poke them off, especially with the Infernal Soul damage coming on through.
The turret's dead.
Oh, look at Morgan, though. Morgan's going to go split push bot side.
Okay, mid for Inhibitor. At some point, RNG have to go back. I mean, what are they willing to take now? It's a 5v4. When are they willing to engage? When are RNG willing to team fight? It's a 5v4, and you're running away from them. Bot lane Inhibitor falls. It's Hanwha Life willing to kill. The killer instinct doesn't exist for anyone on this team, Kaisa or not. And here comes the TP. Here comes the death knell. Willer is willing to fight, and he's gonna kill a whole bunch of them. Hanwha Life looking to get every single one. RNG deserve to be aced here.
Yeah, Hanwha just showing up massively. Like you said, RNG were so indecisive. Hanwha realizing that, having the confidence to force the 4v5 themselves. And Freak, they're going to be able to push for the win. And we're going to get a tiebreaker.
The LPL is still maxed out at 1 win per team in the group stage. The turrets are gonna fall here. RNG and Hanwha Life are tied at 4-2. They're gonna fight for the first seed in Game 7.
And we are once again back to an era of LCK domination. All teams coming out strong. Hanwha should have a ton of confidence going later into the day about this matchup. And yeah, for RNG, Freak, I don't have words.
0-4, 1-2, 1-2 with another game to play.
Yeah,
that is the record for LPL teams at Worlds in Week 2.
We are 2-8. 2-8 in Week 2. Definitely not a good feeling. It's even weird, like, coming out of some of the early laning phase of, I remember there's a point Gala having an item advantage, things like this, where you pointed out at the end, like, hey, we haven't really seen much from this Misfortune. We haven't seen him set up horny big bullet times. RNG did an all right job of getting themselves back into the game with the freeze they set up topside, but it didn't matter. Hanwha just kept stacking up dragons, and RNG could never find a way in. And the one time they tried, Hanwha won.
You know, Chinese players are known for 3-digit numbers in MOBAs. There's 532. I remember there was like a 47 damage Vayne game a few years back. I am curious what Gala's numbers are. They were scrapping in late. It's probably over 1,000, but the one team you believed in more than anyone was RNG.
Yeah.
You were here in the draw show, and you're like, look, RNG, third seed at